Welcome back. We're here to talk about the Week 9 matchup between the Arizona Rattlers and the Tucson Sugar Skulls. The Rattlers had just won back-to-back games to get back to 500, and heading into this one, the Sugar Skulls were just 1-4. Before we get started, Garrett Kettle actually got the start for the Rattlers. Dalton Sneed was dressed and he was out there on the sidelines. When I asked a team representative if he was hurt, he was not injured. They just decided to go with Garrett Kettle, and since there was no media availability, I did not get the chance to ask Kevin Guy. Now, the last time I got to speak to Kevin Guy after the last home game, he did say there's going to be more lineup changes, and it all has to do with matchups, so maybe it has something to do with that. But anyway, a couple of notes out of the way. Let's go ahead and jump right into the report. Arizona won the coin toss, elected to defer. They got the ball to start the second half. On the opening kickoff, Sap Lynch could not hold on to the ball, but then recovered it at the 7-yard line, so the game already started off a little shaky. Not long after, Devontae Merriweather got his hand on a pass, making it 3rd and 5. And then Jermaine Dobbs commits a defensive pass interference, giving Tucson a free first down. A couple of plays later, Pittman brings down the quarterback Mitchell after a 1-yard gain. The next pass was incomplete. It was a 4th down with about 11 minutes and 28 seconds to go in the first quarter. Tucson kicks a field goal from around midfield, 3-0 Tucson, 10 minutes, 55 seconds to go in the first. 3 plays and a couple of minutes later, Jamal Miles, a 6-yard rushing touchdown, giving Arizona their first lead of the night, 7-3, with 8 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first quarter. The next possession by Tucson, Theo Majette brings down Jones at the 7-yard line. The next pass was deflected, another 4th down for Tucson. The Rattlers get the ball back, and on the next kickoff, it bounces off of Huff's hands, goes back out of bounds. The Rattlers start with the ball on their own 5-yard line, 4 minutes and 44 seconds to go in the first quarter. Shannon Brooks starts off that offensive possession with an 11-yard run, then Kettle's pass went nowhere before Tucson committed an illegal defense, giving Arizona another first down. Then Kettle kind of forces this sidearm pass. It goes directly to the Tucson defender, who proceeds to drop the ball. And Garrett Kettle, there was about 2 or 3 times in this game where he almost got a pass picked and it was just bad decision making, something like that. And I noticed it especially later on in the game, but a play like this kind of reminds me of it. There were so many times where before the ball was snapped, you knew exactly where Kettle was throwing it. Even if, let's say, for example, Jamal Miles is wide open, if Glenn Gibbons Jr. is the one that was supposed to get targeted, he's the one the ball's going to, even if he has 2 men covering him. So it's one of those things where I'm not entirely sure. I don't know why Garrett Kettle played to begin with. I don't think he's a bad player or anything, but you do have Dalton Sneed back, who had a pretty decent game overall in the last home game. So I was a little confused by that decision, and the fact that both Garrett and Coach Guy, when I've got to interview him after games, have mentioned not going properly through their reads. So I'm not entirely sure why that is still an issue at week 9 of the season. Anyway, Kettle finds Brooks, who forces his way to the 12-yard line, giving Arizona another first down, and then he finds Glenn Gibbons Jr. at the 5-yard line. Tucson's Jackson takes a penalty for a legal outside blitz, and it's now 1st and goal at the 7-yard line. Brooks fought his way to about the 3-yard line on the next offensive play. An offensive penalty brings that ball back to the 17-yard line. Kettle finds Gibbons around the 10-yard line. After contact, it does fall out of his hands, go out of bounds. That's the end of the first quarter, 7-3 Arizona. Kettle throws another pass nowhere, 3rd down. Then Kettle rushes to the 3-yard line, making it 4th and goal, and then his pass was incomplete. We get a turnover on downs. A disappointing offensive possession, and I'm very curious why they did not make a quarterback change there. I'm pretty sure we'll find out by who's playing tonight, but there's just a couple of really bad plays and just some bad reads, in my opinion. Anyway, Tucson's Jalen Marshall with a 20-plus yard run, making it 1st and 10 at the 11-yard line. Tucson had a couple of really explosive plays. Then Malik Mitchell, an 11-yard touchdown run. The point after was no good, however. Tucson retakes the lead 9-7 with 9 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the second quarter. Isaiah Huff returns the ball to the 12-yard line. Then Garrett Kettle, he kept the ball and managed to bring it out to the line of scrimmage. Tucson then takes a 15-yard penalty for unsportsmanlike conduct. 1st and 10 at the Tucson 22. Kettle found Jackson around the 15, but Jackson couldn't complete the pass. Then Kettle runs to the 13-yard line and make it a 3rd down. Then Brooks is down around the 7-yard line, making it 1st and goal. At least they're bringing the ball forward. They're continuing to put on that pressure. And then on a nice reverse by Shannon Brooks, pretty much you think you're going one way, is going the other. A 6-yard rushing touchdown. Arizona retakes the lead. The point after is good. 14-9 with 5 minutes and 23 seconds to go in the first half. On this next play, the Tucson defender, it was a really solid pickup. So Connor Taylor's putting some pressure on the quarterback. He gets picked up so he doesn't end up getting to touch the quarterback, and Mitchell fires this deep shot. The pass was incomplete, but kind of a similar story where I've been noticing this since I started covering the team in 2019. Whenever it comes to any deep balls, the secondary they're always getting beat. They're always a step or two behind. So it's kind of one of those things where I see something like that happening and I'm like, here we go again. Anyway, the next pass was complete, 3rd and 2. Mitchell then dropped the ball. They lose 5 yards and you go down to a 4th down. And they turn the ball over on downs. The Rattlers get the ball back with 2 minutes and 49 seconds to go in the first half. And then an offensive holding penalty on the Rattlers. It was still a Rattlers first down, but yeah, they get the ball back and immediately take a penalty. Anyway, Kettle found Reed Jr. at the 6-yard line, making it 3rd and 4 at the 1-minute warning. And then Kettle just threw the ball away. We're at 4th down. They go for a field goal. Dawson Evans hits it. 17-9 Arizona with 45 seconds to go. Kevin Symes Jr. sacks Mitchell. Tucson loses about 5 yards. Savon Lowry brought down Mitchell in the end zone, and he was in the process of a pass, so it was a really weird call here. They called it a safety on the field. However, a safety was not awarded, and the Tucson got to keep the ball. And then Mitchell on the next play, 4 seconds to go. He does avoid a sack. He completes the pass for a first down. Tucson then hits a 30-plus yard field goal, making it 17-12 at halftime. Arizona still maintained that lead. And one thing that I found mildly concerning is Arizona is supposed to be a much better team, and offensively they are, but the defense has still found a lot of ways to struggle throughout the season. When they had opportunities to run away with this game, they simply didn't. They did maintain a lead. They did look like they were going to win throughout the game. However, this is supposed to be a rivalry game. This team is supposed to be a lot better than the Sugar Skulls. It's something that I find concerning, and I may bring it up when I do. I'm planning on doing a mid-season report video for Arena Football Talk, so make sure to stay tuned for that. But it's one thing where the Rattlers have found a lot of ways to manage to win against bad teams, and they haven't looked all that good. So it's one of those things that we got to kind of keep it in mind. Anyway, Garrett Kettle in the first quarter, I did post this on Twitter. I wanted to make sure to have this out there. Kettle was 3 for 4 for 29 yards in that first quarter. Very productive. He was 1 for 6 for 15 yards. He had 4 rushing attempts and 22 yards. Total at halftime, he was 4 for 10 for 44 yards. And he easily, in the first half, could have had 1 or 2 interceptions. It was just, it was not a great first half. A decent first quarter. It just wasn't a great overall first half. And I am a little confused what's going on at the quarterback position right now. Anyway, we start off in the second half. Garrett Kettle finds Gibbons Jr. for about a 32-yard touchdown. Yeah, no, phenomenal way to start that second half. Point after is good. 24-12 with 13:05 to go in the third quarter. Just a couple of minutes in. It was a pretty quick drive. 2 plays, 38 yards is the official score on that. The next couple of plays, Tucson's quarterback Malik Mitchell, he keeps the ball. He brought it to around the 1-yard line, making it a 1st and goal. Then he attempted a QB sneak. The ball came loose. Theo Majette was running away with it. I did not see who they officially gave the forced fumble to, but the fumble was recovered by Theo Majette, and the Rattlers get the ball right back. Kettle's pass to Brooks around midfield was dropped, making it 3rd down. It's like a couple of plays later. And then Tucson's Parks blocks Kettle's pass, making it a 4th down. It was a solid block. I have to give him that. I know I cover the Rattlers, but that was a solid play. Kettle's next pass on 4th down is nearly picked off. It's a turnover on downs, the second one of the night for the Rattlers. 5:23 to go in the third quarter, and a lot of these passes just aren't good. Anyway, Mitchell finds Smith for a 21-yard touchdown. Point after is no good after the snap was fumbled. I have never seen so many fumbled snaps. I was trying to talk to the media members around me that would know a little more about Tucson than I do, and I could not figure out why they kept bobbling so many snaps. I wasn't sure if it was a new center or not. No one could really give me a definitive answer. But at that point, 24-18, 3:01 to go in the third quarter. And on the kickoff, Arizona brings the ball to the 10. Brooks has a 10-plus yard run. Then he fumbled the ball at midfield. Another turnover for the Rattlers, and it's Tucson ball with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go. And I do want the opportunity right here to say this. Tucson's defense played well. I think they played well. They came to play as well as you could against a team like the Rattlers that is known for having a better offense. I really want to give a lot of credit to Tucson's defense. Tucson's offense struggled a lot. There was a lot of offensive struggles for Tucson, but the defensive end of the ball was fundamentally sound. Anyway, Mitchell fumbles another snap. Amari Alexander recovers the ball. Devontae Merriweather then commits an illegal blindside block. The Rattlers do get the ball. It's at their own 9-yard line with 40 seconds to go in the third quarter. After 3, it's 24-18 Arizona. Then Kettle finds Reed Jr. for a 40-yard completion somewhere in there. It was a long one. It was a long completion. Brooks then cleans it up, 5-yard rushing touchdown. Point after is good, 31-18 Arizona, with 13 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the game. And at that point, there's 31 points on the board. The Rattlers are only going to score one more time. There's another bad snap. However, Mitchell finds Mike Jones for another first down. I was mildly confused. I have been very, very subtly, kind of casually trying to keep up with what's going on with Tucson since they joined the league in 2019. I'm pretty sure Mike Jones has been there forever, and he's supposed to be a running back, but he was playing consistent wide receiver minutes. I'm not sure if there's injuries going on there, if he's more of a hybrid nowadays, but I wanted to go ahead and mention that. Then Mitchell finds Marshall for a 4-yard touchdown. Point after is good, 31-25 Arizona, 9 minutes, 53 seconds to go. Then Jamal Miles is brought down at the 8-yard line off the kickoff, and a Tucson unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. It's their second one of the night. First down at the Arizona Rattlers 23-yard line, so midfield. Then we get a false start on Arizona, making it 2nd and 10. Then Kettle finds Jamal Miles for a 5-yard touchdown. Tucson challenged for a false start, however. The ruling on the field stood. Arizona gets a touchdown, then Tucson challenged again for offside. The ruling on the field was confirmed once more. Tucson was out of challenges at that point, 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the game. The point after was good, 38-25. Then Mitchell finds Kerrigan in the end zone, but he dropped the ball. They could have immediately brought themselves right back within another score. The very next play, though, Marshall finds Smith for a 30-plus yard touchdown. 27 yards to be exact. I'm doing quick math when I'm doing these notes while I'm at the game. Immediately making it a one-score game again. Point after is good. It's 38-32 with 1 minute and 13 seconds to go. And Tucson missed out on what? 1 or 2 extra points. It wouldn't have mattered at the end of the day, but at this point right here, 1 minute and 13 seconds to go, it is still a one-score game. It's 6 points. The onside kick, Merriweather recovers. The ball's on the 12-yard line with 1 minute, 10 seconds to go. We get the 1 minute warning and then back-to-back knees by Garrett Kettle. The game's over. The Arizona Rattlers win their 3rd consecutive game, bringing them up to above 500 for the 2nd time this season. And looking at the standings right now, the Arizona Rattlers are tied for 3rd place in the Northern Arizona Wranglers and the San Diego Strike Force. Seeing Northern Arizona lose a couple of games to drop them down a little bit, a little concerning if you're a Wranglers fan, but we're not talking about the Wranglers, we're talking about the Rattlers and the Sugar Skulls. And the Rattlers right now are in a 3-way tie for 3rd place. All these teams are 4-3. The team behind them, San Antonio, is 3-4. The last playoff spot in the Western Conference is probably going to be a little tight this season. Anyway, I did have a couple of miscellaneous notes after the game. So again, no media availability. The Rattlers won their 3rd consecutive game, but they were all against below 500 teams. Not 500 or below. They were all below 500, including a winless team, 2 winless teams in there. But they do improve to 4-3 on the season. They're above 500 for the first time since week 1. And their next game will be today as of recording, so hopefully it'll also be up the same day. I apologize. Things get in the way. On the May 18th against the Bay Area Panthers, the last matchup between the Rattlers and Panthers did not go the Rattlers' way in Bay Area. Let's go ahead and take a look at the individual stats. So, Garrett Kettle, 11 for 20, overall an okay night in terms of overall percentages. 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, it's not bad. Didn't end up walking away with any interceptions. Rushing-wise, he had 5 attempts, 23 yards. Shannon Brooks, 14 attempts, 77 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Shannon Brooks has been having a phenomenal season. I think he's probably been the best Rattlers running back I've seen playing for them since I've been covering them. And Jamal Miles had 3 attempts, 7 yards, and a touchdown. On the receiving side, Glenn Gibbons Jr., 5 receptions, 60 yards, and a touchdown. Corey Reed Jr., 2 receptions, 43 yards. Shannon Brooks had a couple of receptions for 22 yards, and Jamal Miles had a couple of receptions for 13 yards and a touchdown. Jamal Miles kind of does everything. He's that perfect utility, that perfect number 2 or 3 option of the offense, and Arizona, they're thriving right now. Anyway, so the fumble recovery, you had one for Amari Alexander, one for Theo Majette. No official forced fumbles in the score. You had a pass breakup by Devontae Merriweather, like I already told you about. Both Pittman and Sims Jr. had the sack. Tackle for loss, you had one for each. Connor Taylor, Pittman, his was a sack. Theo Majette, and that was a 4-yard loss. And then, of course, Sims Jr. And you know what? Just because it's right here, Dawson Evans hit some field goals and point afters. Dawson Evans has been very consistent all season. I feel like the Rattlers always manage to find good kickers, but there you go. The Arizona Rattlers do take care of business down in Tucson. However, it was a little close for my liking. I think Tucson's defense played very well. I don't have a whole lot of criticisms for that. The offense, on the other hand, there was a lot of bad plays, bad snaps, but that offense still did not give up, and they got themselves right back in the game, and the final score was only a 6-point victory for the Rattlers. So there's definitely a version of this where Tucson's team would have been a lot better this year, but that's neither here nor there. I'm not the Tucson expert. I'm the Arizona Rattlers reporter. But anyway, there you go. Hopefully the next video will not be a week delay. And the next matchup is tonight, as of recording, May 18th, where the Rattlers host the Bay Area Panthers.